Wow, I sure do love Artfight. It's such a nice community, and it's just such a calm and enjoyable event every single year. It's great. I really loved it up until now. I should go online and see what other people are saying. What is that? Oh my god! Hey guys, it's me, Cringe Shark, everyone's #1 favorite YouTuber. Guys, trust me, I am so skilled and so good at posting consistently, it's incredible. Seriously, take some notes. Would you guys believe me if I said it was on my New Year's resolution to post here twice a month? In this video, my voice might sound a little off just because I'm recovering from the very life-altering and just horrific common cold. We're in June as I write this, which is kind of later than I wanted to get it out. But that means that we still have time before Artfight officially begins in July. As an Artfight old-timer of 2 whole years, wow, like, really guys, be impressed. I think I know a thing or two, alright? And anyone who's joined Artfight before knows that it's kind of stress season. We're already cramming to get these reference sheets done. We're sweating while dragging old OCs out of the closet and dusting them off. No, seriously, your goal should be to make over 20 reference sheets this month. That is reasonable and, in fact, expected. That will not lead to burnout. For anyone who's never participated or just wants something on in the background while you draw, Artfight is an annual art training game that starts in July and continues throughout the month. The whole gimmick is that you're sorted onto one of 2 themed teams. Yes, you can pick your team, and you get to attack other users by making art of their characters. The teams are announced towards the end of this month. Each attack gets you a certain amount of points, and the team with the most points in the end wins. Which team wins doesn't really matter so much as the game itself, and no, I'm not just saying that because I'm on a 2-year losing streak, how dare you. The thing is, the teams are so massive that I've never felt like I make a massive difference in my team's performance, so I don't pay attention to points much. Or maybe I'm just not competitive enough, and that's why my team has always lost, who knows. For the attacks, your points depend on how much of the body you drew, whether or not you added a background, if it's animated, stuff like that, and you'll get more points. You can also draw characters from your team. You just get less points for that. It's called Friendly Fire. It's a pretty detailed system, so I'd recommend checking the attack classification rules to get a good idea of how you should classify your attack. The moderators also do a really, really good job of looking through and making sure that the points are balanced out correctly. I keep saying draw, but you don't actually have to draw anything for Artfight, ironically. Digital artists do take up most of the site, but there's not a lack of traditional pen and paper artists. And I do see a lot of 3D renders, handmade crafts, paintings, even stuffed animals sometimes. Any kind of art is acceptable, really. I think the only thing they've outright banned is the usage of AI, which is totally fair because AI can't make art anyway. AI bros, get off my video.
Go do something, man!
Already-ish has a super cool video on different kinds of attacks that are completely allowed, and one I'd never thought of that they mentioned was food art, like a cookie decorated as someone's OC. That's such a neat idea! I would freak out if someone made that for me. Definitely go watch their video. They go way more in depth than I did, and they give more examples. Plus, that got me thinking, I don't have to stick with my usual digital art. I've done that all previous years, but I've really been on a roll with my sketchbook lately. I've been experimenting with some markers and inking, and I'd already been planning on pushing myself creatively this year, so why not switch up mediums for a couple attacks? And of course, your characters are easily the best part of Artfight. I love seeing new goobers every year. You can add pretty much any of your own characters, so fandom OCs, original universe characters, personas. I've seen people add AU characters, so like picture Jinx from Arcane as a furry, or Invincible with a different design and lore. I've seen tons of stuff like that, and it's always really cool. Basically, as long as your character isn't a direct copy of a pre-existing character, it's fair game. Speaking of fair game, there were some minor controversies last year. I'm not a drama YouTuber, and I never plan on getting involved in that particular sphere, but since everyone and their mother has made a video on the topic, I just wanted to throw my 2 cents in. To be totally honest, all of that stuff was blown way out of proportion. I've never had a negative Artfight experience, and everyone is really welcoming and kind. Worst case scenario, you might not get an attack back or something like that, but that's never really been the set expectations. The whole, like, quote-unquote lazy attacks and human centipede thing, I didn't even see or hear about that stuff until way after the event was over. I think it was just one of those one-off situations that got drug out for content's sake. It was weird, but really not that big of a deal. And I'm not targeting anyone with that specific comment, just genuinely people still talk about that stuff. Sorry for keeping this section really brief, but there's not all that much to say. My point is, anyone who wants to join Artfight, but is worried the Artfight scene is too hostile and you're gonna get jumped for misunderstanding a rule or your drawings are deemed lazy, it's really not gonna happen. In my experience, everyone is just here to have a fun time and make cool character art. That being said, I'd say there's some basic Artfight etiquette that can be summarized with, don't be entitled. It sucks not getting a comment or a revenge attack for something you worked really hard on, but the beauty of the whole deal is that you're getting a chance to stretch your creative muscles and interact with other artists and characters you'd otherwise never would have had the chance to. I've been exposed to fandoms I've never heard of before, thanks to Artfight, and gotten tons of inspiration from my art and characters. I still add little stars and dots around my art because I thought it was such a cute idea after seeing it on an attack I got in my first year. Last year, I drew the original character, Pregnant Tonald Drump, not to be confused with a certain orange toad, getting into a fight with my real-life friend's superpowered characters. Just don't go into it hoping to get free art, you know? Artfight is a really amazing community, we support each other, and it's a little give and take. The speed paint I'm working on in the background are my OC reference sheets. I feel like everyone gets the basics, just make sure it's flat color, full body of your character, maybe with their color palette or basic information or backstory like their age, height, gender, things like that. Don't burn yourself out on reference sheets. Keep KISS in mind. Keep it simple, stupid. Don't overcomplicate your ref sheets when it isn't necessary. Design-wise, go ham, but you don't have to include your OC's favorite food. You can, but anyone trying to draw them might read that instead of why they have that strategically placed scar. And suddenly all the attacks you get on your character is them eating chocolate and that scar looks more like a tattoo. An expression sheet is great practice for fleshing out your characters in your own time, but unless you really want your character's emotions expressed in a certain way, it might be better not to include something that would take away from the main focus and leave people confused on what the main idea is. I would recommend writing what's necessary and making it as clear as possible. Plus, you can add up to, I believe, 6 pictures of your character per character profile, so there's plenty of other space to expand on something. But for your basic reference sheet, that's going to be used pretty much exclusively, please, for your own sake, add the necessary details and make it polished before adding extra cool details. Since this is my video, here are my personal, scolding hot takes. These aren't recommendations or anything, I'm not even trying to convince you to do these things or like them as well, I just like seeing them out in the wild. Fandom OCs and Sonas. This is super vague, sorry about that, but I love to see it. I feel like now in the era of everything being really cringe on the internet, it's really neat to see people indulge in their nerdy, obscure interests and really letting it take over their headspace. Like sure, your most pure form of self-expression is drawing yourself as a blue sparkle dog with glasses, even though you don't need glasses, but when you were little, you wished you had them, and honestly, even now you think they're aesthetically interesting, even though you know they're not functional and kind of a pain to wear? Dude, that's cool! Everybody at some point has drawn themselves as an animal or thought it'd be really cool to be a tiger for a day or something. And honestly, personas are tame. Let's see your Hotel Transylvania Count Dracula kin Sona, who's also an otter because they're your favorite animal. Can one kin Dracula? I don't know. And for fandom OCs, I don't even care if that's cringe. That's every writer's dream. That their world, stories, characters, theme would connect with someone enough that they not only think about it a lot, but they want to add on to the world and write parts of it. The Owl House is a great show, but we never did get to see much of the Oracle Coven. So someone's sitting there and daydreaming about it, and they make up a little character to flesh out that part of the story, and who knows, maybe that funky little guy goes on adventures with the main cast, or goes in to fight Bellows. Fandom OCs and Sonas are just love letters to your favorite media or yourself, and I love that. Alternative outfits. I know this is kind of counterintuitive to what I said earlier about keeping it simple, but if your character does have multiple outfits or hairstyles drawn out, you better believe I'm going feral over that. I think it's so cool when you get to see that fashion sense in action and your character at different times and places in their life. Plus, it gives anyone who wants to attack you, me, different options on how I can draw your character. Decorating the character profile. Artfight has really good profile customization options, and I love seeing people utilizing that. You can change the font color and size, import pictures and blinkies. You can even tag your friends so they're linked to your bio. It's just super fun opening someone's profile or a character profile, and it's just totally decked out in stickers and bright colors. Color palettes. I mentioned this a little bit before for the reference sheet part, but it can be helpful for people who want to draw your characters to have something easy to color pick from. because the reference sheets might get pixelated or blurred when they're exported into whatever drawing program they use. And also just personally, and this part's unscripted because I didn't have a ton to say about this, but I like seeing silly little profile pictures. That's kind of a small detail, but I like it when people draw their OCs with big old eyes and that's their profile picture. I think it's cute. So yeah, go sign up for Artfight. It's free and super fun, and I want to draw your characters. Definitely drop your Artfight users in the comments. Mine is in the description. I'll make a point of trying to check out everyone's profile. That's not a guaranteed attack or anything. I have a never-ending bookmarks file, but if nothing else, somebody else might see it and decide to check you out. Plus, I want to foster a little community of artists here, so I think this is a good way to start.